and a possibility we could be going back to the damn replacement refs.
Oh, the fail Mary.
So I know that the NFL passed a rule at the spring meetings that basically said that replay can reverse
certain fouls, more so like the ones like, probably I think head to head, helmet. Thank God, fuck you NFL, because 2021 Kansas City Sorensen, where was the flag?
But that rule was put in depending on if there's going to be replacement officials or not.
And it's still going to happen, at least for 1 year, one trial year.
The NFL, the officiating has obviously been criticized for years. I thought it was particularly bad this year, and I've never been a conspiracy guy, but some of those games, I swear to God, have gambling implications on them, because I've watched the end of some games this year, and they were not pretty. I go back to, like, I don't know if you remember Denver and Vegas. Denver was up 10, and they had like a 4th and 2 at the Vegas 4, and they went for it, didn't get it. Vegas, with no timeouts left, drive down the field, they kick a field goal. I think the line was 7.5, and they lost by 7. And me and Wilcox had pretty much a meltdown.
I remember that
because we both had Denver minus 7.5. But listen, I mean, it sounds.
You remember 2020 when Chubb broke off that long run against the Texans and he chose to go out of bounds? I had him on at least one of my fantasy teams, but he still scored me enough points to, I think, win me that matchup. But man, were people ticked off when he didn't go into the end zone to cover have the spread go one way or the other.
I'll say this. At least it sounds like the NFL knows that this could be a big fight, and sounds like they're going to potentially be training some referees now instead of calling in high school teachers to come in on the weekends the way they did the first time.
Regardless of who they end up bringing in, it's going to, like, if you don't remember, I think from the last go around, or maybe I'm thinking of a different scenario, there was a ref that was at one point assigned to a Saints game. I forget if this was during replacement or if this was during like closer to a playoff or regular season game, but that guy was pulled off of that game.
That was during COVID. I think it was a betting scandal. Because I think
it didn't happen. The guy didn't get into that game, but they pulled him off of that assignment. So it's like it didn't become a scandal necessarily, but they preemptively made sure that they didn't allow something like that happen. Right now, there are probably people who want to have certain things go their way, and that's where we have to be concerned.
So I don't know how you feel about the whole, should the NFL have full-time officials? Maybe
they should have at least a head ref and a sub head ref, full-time training, understanding the rule book, and then being able to work with all the other crews. That way you have again, at least 2 refs on the same crew every goddamn year who are ready, trained, know the rule book in and out. And it's very weird, but I think you need to have.
If you're going to pay officials full time for, because football is as short as regular season, it's like 6-7 months, whatever it is. So if you're going to do that, to me, this is what you do. In the off season, those full time officials are the referees for the UFL.
Yeah, that would be a perfect solution, to be honest.
Because I think the UFL, and I mean, I got to be honest with you, I watched some of the Columbus, and I think it was Birmingham, or I don't remember exactly who. It was a Sunday night game. Mm-hmm. I'm watching that game for just like 5-10 minutes. There's NFL guys in the UFL.
There are NFL guys there.
I think the UFL is going to become what minor league baseball almost is to Major League Baseball.
That's what I've kind of seen. It's like it's just a wait and see game on that front.
So, well, one more kind of interesting topic here in the NFL before we get into the draft portion of it is, I don't know if you've seen this, but the NFL is starting to negotiate new media agreements. They have come out and they have said, we want these deals done by the season starts. They're already working with CBS. They're working with Fox. They are reportedly going to cut back the Monday Night Football games. There's going to be no doubleheader Monday night like there
I
have been
like
the
the
last couple
doubleheader
years.
Monday nighters, to be honest. I don't like the Thursday nighters they do sometimes.
Well, this is what they're going to do. They're going to take those, however many they had, 4 or 5 doubleheaders. They're going to take what would be those games and put those 4 games somewhere else in the schedule, whether that's in another package, whether that's in like a Thanksgiving Eve game, which has been talked about, which would be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I like the way that they've done just like random rotation of divisional rivals in that game, like the last couple of years. That I think that works better for the nightcap after your Lions play first or
well, no, they're going to have that too. So there's going to be
those two teams are going to play on Thanksgiving, no question about that. But I like what I think I like it where they have divisional rivals going head to head for the nightcap. It kind of has at least some level of significance to it.
Me and Josh are big schedule nerds. And I have made the argument that, and I hope that this is not the case, and it looks like it's not going to be the case. My biggest fear when it came to 2030, because listen, we all know the NFL is actually getting underpaid for their media rights deal. I mean, somehow NBC
they are not getting underpaid. They're being paid fair market. It's just the way that it looks.
No, they're not. They're getting significantly.
You know what I mean, man. Come on. You know what I mean.
Fitz. NBC's paying more for Sunday Night Basketball than they are Sunday Night Football. It just should not be the case. The NFL is asking for a 50% increase from each network: CBS, NFL, Amazon Prime, and Prime wants more games.
Network is owned by the NFL, and then combine that with ESPN. My main thing here is this ask of this? Again, your figure here, 50% increase. Is this them thinking that they will for sure get an 18th game? And
yes.
if you're the players, I'm willing to lose a season for a lockout. I am.
No,
17 games.
Did you see this proposal? Me and Jalen Sandvik talked about this last week on the show. The proposal of 18 games, but the players only play 17.
So I think I've heard of that one before, but I just
I
don't know how you make it work.
Which would be insane for fantasy purposes. I mean, but it would be strategy, right? It'd be almost like the NBA anti-tanking, where like theoretically, if you're playing the Jets every week, for example, do the Eagles rest Jalen Hurts or do the Rams rest Matthew Stafford because you think you could beat the Jets without those guys? I don't like it. I am all for 2 preseason games, 18 regular season games. You expand the rosters, 2 bye weeks, because injuries are going to happen regardless. Yeah. And I think preseason is actually more risky than the regular season because these guys aren't going full speed.
Yeah. By the way, if you didn't know, it's been 9 years since I made my varsity team at Holy Name. Shout out to Coach Carter. 18 is my number that I got to wear on my back. But 18 NFL games, as much as that number sounds nice in my head, it does not make sense for an on-the-field product. I would argue that you're going to get a sloppier product. You're going to get a more... I don't like that they've added that 17th game at all, period. I get why they did.
I'd rather have... I'll put it this way. I'd rather have 16 than 17, but I'd rather have 18 than 17. I don't like 17. I don't like odd numbers. I think odd numbers are
I know,
weird.
And that's where I'm like, I will agree with you on that front, and you know why for various reasons. But I will just leave it at that. Not anything bad. Just like I'm just trying to make it a little bit of a little.
Well, anyway, so back to my original point.
Yeah.
My fear was that actually Netflix was going to get like the A package, and Amazon was
really would have been pissed off about.
And they were going to basically say, F broadcast television, and CBS and Fox were going to go under, because I don't care what these networks say. Football is what's paying the bills for all of these networks. They all have their streaming services now. I get it, but without the NFL, they're cooked. And so,
by the way, can we make sure the NFL? I need to double check this with you, Brandon. The NFL with their with the Netflix games, right? If it's an in-market game for like a Cleveland, right? they have to air it on a local channel too, correct?
I know they do it for Prime, so I'm assuming that yes, they do so for Netflix.
That's what Major League Baseball needs to do. I know we're going off on a different tangent, but oh my freaking God. For Sunday Night Baseball, the very first one, Guardians, Mariners, for that to just be on Peacock and not on NBC, that's a problem. That is a gosh darn problem for both. The fact that you don't have, and the Guardians had two, they were exclusive on Friday night with the Mariners last week on Apple TV, and they had all those late starts. Come on. Grow the game and the blackouts. And if you're not going to do that, if you're going to put them on an exclusive streaming platform, do what the NFL does. Put them on a local channel, which WKYC has done for years.
So I've never been, and this is an all sports thing, I've never been a fan, and I'm used to it now because, like, for wrestling, Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. But I've never been a fan of professional sports games being a streaming exclusive. I'm a big fan of broadcast. I think streaming is hard to flip back and forth. I'm annoyed by it, but it's the sign of the times. But the NFL now is going to try to basically package the international games, CBS and Fox. What I'm trying to say is they're going to get less games. The NFL wants to create more exclusive national windows.
Yeah, well, I'll tell them this. Good luck getting me to sign up for more subscription services, which are already bloated. And because it's not happening. Unless someone is paying for my subscription. I'm not saying you. Unless someone is paying for my subscription, I'm not paying for it. It's already crazy expensive.
Too much. I mean, I told you I will just not pay for Apple TV.
Do you remember when we had our Kent cable cut during our final year at Kent State? They saved about $500,000, I believe, to up to maybe $1 million total, if I'm thinking about that one right. There was multiple cuts that saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars that they made in our final year at Kent. YouTube TV was extremely pricey. And to go through that experience and know that Netflix is basically, whether or not they've passed that point from 6 years ago now or not, I believe they probably have. No one should be able to stomach that.